Good evening and welcome to the Egg Digest. My name's Jack
I'm Dan.
and we'll be talking to you about the first 2 weeks of the Six Nations.
Yeah, it's going to be hopefully going to be a weekly, bi-weekly rugby vlog.
Yeah.
He's English, I'm Welsh. He's biased. I'm very pessimistic. Is that fair to say?
Very biased against England.
Yeah, pretty much. So start with the first weekend then, Jack.
Yep.
First game up. Scotland v Ireland.
Scotland v Ireland.
Thoughts?
Yeah, it was a Scotland team that were raring to go and an Irish team that was slow at the blocks, and although we don't like Scotland very much, but it was a good start by them. Vern Carter's got them playing well, and they're very good defensively, very hard to play against, and Ireland weren't ready for them, and so they paid the price.
Yeah, I think just one thing you said there about Vern Carter, he's got to possibly look at being arguably one of the best coaches in the world. They got to tune up the jocks.
Yeah.
Given, I mean, their scrum was on its arse against Ireland, and obviously there was a major concern against France as well. Not much depth either. I mean, Johnny Gray turning into a world-class lock was brilliant against Ireland. I don't know. I think the thing with Scotland, they've got a good start in 15. No, I say good. They've got a decent start in 15, but you know, they get injuries, pick up knocks, players missing. I think they struggle, and I think that was proved this week against France. Really. Give us your thoughts on Stuart Hogg, mate.
Well, he's quick and he can finish. He's quick off the mark. He's got good feet, but I'm not one of these people that joins on the bandwagon of all the hype that he's got as some epic fullback, because you know when he hasn't got the ball is what I look for, especially in a fullback, and he misses a lot of tackles. He's pretty average in the air, but obviously, you know.
What about this chat of him being the starting 15 for the Lions in the summer?
Well, he wouldn't be my starting 15. You know, when you actually look at it, I think, although he's not playing there at the minute, I still think Liam Williams is the best candidate to play fullback. His all-round game's pretty good, and he's it's always that same, isn't it? Like, a player playing for a bad team looks amazing. Put him in amongst really good players, and he probably won't be, you know, we probably won't be talking about him as much. Whereas Liam Williams is playing around better players, and he still looks good, and he's done it down in New Zealand.
Yeah, I think you're spot on there. His defence is garbage, quite frankly. Falls off tackles way too easily.
No one ever talks about that, do they?
Nah.
No.
It doesn't help when the BBC have got about 20 jocks doing the game, but there we are.
Yeah. Andy Nicol with his
segment of
the bleeding obvious.
Yeah. And the old school job description of a fullback is last line of defence, and if there's one thing Stuart Hogg isn't, it's the last line of defence. He may be good going forward, but it's not good enough in defence. So I think he'll probably go on the Lions Stuart, but because we've got to have the ratio of jocks up as we're being fed.
You got to fill a certain quota of jocks.
Yeah. So he'll go, but not for me. He's not touching the test team for me.
No.
But there we are. Okay, second game, England-France. Give us your thoughts on England-France.
Yeah, it was rubbish. It was hard to watch. It was a bit nail-biting. But
may have caused a few family disputes, some may say.
Yeah, we had a few disagreements. Mine were well-founded, yours weren't. Either way, they played rubbish, but the beauty of being an England fan at the minute is they're playing in that mode where you're still confident of the win. Probably, I didn't see the game live on Saturday, but there is, you know, even Jones said it, they're still confident that they were going to get the win, even though of how close the game was. And you do feel that as an England fan, but at the same time that you can't you can't play like that forever because you do get found out. But you know, there's a lot of room for improvement, but they are strong at the minute, really strong. Seems like they can match any intensity thrown at them.
I think you were poor. I thought that first game, Itoje was a bit out of his depth at 6. The back row wasn't functioning until Haskell came on and Teo came on to add a bit of power. I think that was lacking. I think that's what got you over the line, basically, the bench. I think obviously Haskell didn't play again this weekend against Wales, but when he's back fully firing, fully fit enough to go 60, he'll come straight back in the side. And Eddie Jones alluded to it this week that this weekend that changes are going to have to be made on the England team, and I think Ben Teo, he's almost becoming a player that, given his performances off the bench, that you might have to start starting sooner rather than later.
Yeah, I mean, it's one thing coming off the bench and one thing starting a game. I've seen it thousands of times before. Coming off the bench is a bit different because you're an impact, but when the team has to play around you, especially in a position like he'll come on, because he's more looking like a 12 than a 13. So that will change in England's game massively over the course of 80 minutes. You know, we play with a distributor at 12, an out-and-out distributor, whereas Teo's game is to hit the line. And I can't, personally, I don't want to see him come on at 12. We've got away from that. Not that Teo's a bad player, but we've got away from someone who hits the line at 12. And we've turned into a team that distributes well from that position. I think that's massive for us. But then, so for me, I don't know what Jones will do, but whether he'll start or not. But then you have to sacrifice Jonathan Joseph. So, but you know, if he's not measuring up, he's not playing badly, but he's not having a massive effect on games at the minute. So, you know, Jones probably wants to send a message to him. Listen, we got someone to replace you. Up it or you're out, team.
Yeah.
But it is one thing coming off the bench and one thing starting. That's for sure, especially in a position like 12.
Can't fault his performances coming off the bench, though.
No, they've been crucial. They've been absolutely crucial and much needed as well. Just a bit of something else in the last 20, and someone who wants a test place.
Yeah.
You can tell that he wants a test place.
Well, I mean, you get an Aussie with a sniff of a test start in 15, you know, they're pretty keen for it. So, yeah, it seems to be like he's trying to force his way into the starting 15. Anything else on the England game?
I've watched the highlights back from the weekend because obviously I can watch it live.
Yeah, we'll do that. We'll do that next.
Okay.
We'll do the first weekend first.
Okay. Yeah, there wasn't much to say. They were poor. And
Yeah.
a France team that are very, very big up front.
I mean, their back row, Pickamos and Gordon in particular,
They've got big players.
Men.
Well, they've got the biggest pack in the Six Nations, and they've got nuisances in there. They've got good carriers. They've got top scrummagers.
Yeah.
So
I mean, you're looking at a team with arguably the best scrum on the start, the best scrum starting, and the best scrum to come off the bench.
Yeah.
I mean, to have Rabah Slimani on the bench is just embarrassment of riches, really.
Yeah. So they're going to be anyone. They're going to be tough to beat. You got to get through that pack.
Yeah. Because I mean, we'll get to it later. Anyway, anything else from the French that impressed you?
Their back three looks so lively.
Yeah.
I said to you a few weeks ago, they're the three I'm looking forward to most, and before the England game, the three I'm most scared of.
Well, I don't know. I don't know what to think about Spedin.
I don't rate him. He's sort of like.
He's a 7 out of 10 player.
But he's rapid, and he's strong, and he's hard to put down.
Makes little mistakes as well.
Yeah, but when England are playing against him, I don't see those. I see him coming onto the ball 100 miles an hour and carving through. That's what I see. Um, he's quick and he's big.
Yeah.
And the other two wingers are proper athletes. Vakatawa's so deadly on that wing, so I'm glad that game's out the way.
Yeah. Wales, Italy. I'll start here. Howley in charge. Not good. I think he's making selection mistakes. For the first 40 minutes against Italy, we didn't look like really threatening the try line. I think that's got a lot to do with Bigger. Davis comes on, all of a sudden we start to look threatening. I've been an Osprey season ticket fan for the last 3 years, and this season the stats are irrefutable. Sam Davis starts, the Ospreys get a bonus point. Half of the starts for Bigger have churned out 0 bonus points in an attacking sense. And I think it's evidently clear to most pundits, most people watch the Welsh rugby team, that Sam Davis is the way forward. But clearly the Welsh management have put this emphasis on defence rather than attack, or all the build-up to both games really. Start the Six Nations has been defensive chat rather than attack, what they can do with the ball, and thus falling behind the big nations like England, Ireland, New Zealand, who put more emphasis on attack. And it's costing us, and we haven't progressed in 3-4 years now. And the first half against Italy was a classic example of what I'm talking about. The game changed when Big went off, and for Gatland to be away with the Lions, given his priority should be Wales during a philosophical change, isn't right. Howley's clearly out of his depth, bottling the big decisions. So not very impressed, to be fair. That's it. You got anything to say in it?
Yeah, you've got a lot of good players. The thing of Wales is can pick and choose their games. I think Italy should have been put to bed a lot earlier in the game. It shouldn't be that second half push for a win, and that pressure should be. You should be good enough to put that pressure on Italy for the full 80 minutes, and not when the important decisions towards the end or important plays. You should be aiming for a full 80-minute performance. The game should have been done by half time, but it wasn't. But there's a lot of good players. I'm a big fan of Tipuric. She's probably one of the best sevens in the world. Probably one player you'd take from any team and put into the England team. But this Dan Bigger thing, he's an all-action 10. He's up and unders, he's big hits, he's hard carries, he's offloads, and that's great. And he can play a high level of rugby, but it's what do you want from your 10? I'd rather have a 10, for example, like George Ford, who takes the ball to line and puts other people through, and who's good off the boot and plays the right areas, than an all-action 10, if you know what I mean. There's other players like that on the pitch that's their job. You want your 10 is to challenge the line and be creative, and so I don't know. You may take a few games for him to bed in, but long term, he's surely got to be the answer. Why wait? If he's already playing for the Ospreys and he's got the skill set, then get him in.
A word on Italy, because let's be fair, for as long as we do this, we're not going to speak much about Italy, are we? We're not going to speak about Zebra or Treviso. So, one word on Italy.
They need better players.
1 word, 3, brilliant. Garbage. So
that's 4.
Garbage, 1 word.
You said that was 3. You said
no, right, fair enough.
They need better players.
Okay, sorry,
anyway.
4. It was 4, not 1. So then, standout players from the first weekend.
Well, everyone's going to be saying Hogg, aren't they?
From the first weekend?
Yeah,
he did play well. Yeah, I'll give it that. Pickamuls?
Yeah, Pickamuls. Yeah, destructive.
Vakatawa?
Vakatawa played well, but it was nowhere near what Pickamuls was in that game. I think probably Pickamuls was probably the best player that weekend.
Hmm.
He was epic.
No one stood out in the Wales game really, apart from Sam Davies. Ireland, Scotland. Obviously, Hogg got the headlines. He does what he does in attack. I think that game changed when Sean O'Brien went off. He was the only back row out of both teams that got over the gain line, and then Schmidt took him off for some reason. I don't know why, but I thought he played well. But
I thought Alan Dunbar played well, 12.
yeah, once again, I mentioned him earlier, Johnny Gray, looking, I think he's playing his way. The Lions starting 15 for me. I thought he was brilliant against Ireland. We'll come on to the second round of fixtures now. So, first up this weekend, Italy-Ireland. What was the score? 60 odd points to not many.
They smashed them.
Yeah, it's not good enough, is it? It's Six Nations. The whole tagline this Six Nations has been the greatest rugby tournament on the planet. Well, the greatest rugby tournament on the planet doesn't include a team that gets hammered by 60 points, in my opinion. And that may happen in the Southern Hemisphere with the championship. But it doesn't happen consistently. Italy have got England away next. If Ireland are putting 60 on Italy, I don't know what England are going to do at Twickenham.
And I can't.
France, Scotland to come.
I can't see some Eddie Jones letting England get away with an average. He just won't allow it.
No.
And the amount of competition there is for England places, I can't see anyone coming in taking that game lightly. I can see him getting absolutely thumped. But I wish Italy were better because, like, they're good value in terms of, like, the national anthem,
Trip out there,
the trip out to Rome, like the culture, like they are perfect for the Six Nations except for the quality of their play.
So what are we talking about? Are we talking about this sort of relegation promotion situation that's been muted with Georgia or Romania or whatever?
I personally, because anyone who comes in is not going to be able to meet the level. Look at that England-Wales game. No one is going to be able to come in and meet anywhere near that. So you probably, I think you'd have to take it back to 5.
I don't think that's the answer. I think what the answer is promotion relegation, or you take Italy out, then you do bring Georgia in, because what we're looking at is Italy have been in the tournament since 2003,
2000 is.
Is it 2000?
Yeah, it's 2000.
So they've been in there 16 years now. This is their 16th year, and the level of progression, clearly, it isn't good enough. So if you're going to bring someone up promotion on a one-off basis, I don't think that would really have an effect. Whereas if Georgia come in for an extended run of time and get given that opportunity to progress, bearing in mind that in Georgia rugby's the number one sport, I think possibly they have more chance of producing quality than what Italy do.
The only thing I worry about that is like, because any team that comes up is only going to be there a year and then they're going to be straight back down. Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. That's why I think that if there is a case for another team coming in, it should be an extended period, not promotion up and down.
Yeah.
I just don't agree with that.
Yeah, I think that's the way.
Plus, I think what you were saying about Italy bringing value, saying Rome, the trip away to Rome, Tbilisi, tough place to go. Tbilisi, if you're a team.
Is that in Georgia?
Are you kidding me? Yeah.
I don't know what that is.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it is.
I don't know what you're on about then. Tbilisi.
Yeah, but going over to Georgia, it's not Rome, is it?
It's somewhere completely different.
Yeah, so...
But what will that do for Italian rugby if you kick them out for 2-3 years?
Yeah, but they haven't progressed.
Yeah, I know, but they're certainly not going to...
Yeah, but you keep their professional teams in the Pro 12 and the European rugby club scene, so their players will still get exposure to top level rugby. So
yeah, I know.
It's that trade off of quality and
something needs to change, doesn't it?
Yeah, but Stander, hat trick of tries. Think arguably with Farrell and possibly Alan Wynne Jones, probably Stander now nailed on at 6 for the Lions?
Well, I wouldn't say nailed on if Mauro's moved to 6. Because for me, Mauro's still got to be in that Lions pack. So, yeah, I mean, me, I'd still have Mauro in the row, so he gets into my team. But, you know, if Mauro's a 6 now, then...
For me, I mean, obviously there's a lot of water under the bridge. There's a lot of, you know, stuff to go on. We've got best part of 5 months, but like I say, I think, you know, given that Munster are going to be in top level, both European and domestic level competitions, playoffs, finals, etc. I can't see his star sort of dwindling to that effect, and I think, yeah, he's pretty much 80% certain for
Yeah,
sixth berth.
he gets into my team because Mauro's, I know you have a different opinion, but Mauro's in the row, so he gets into my team, that's for sure, and he's such a dominant carrier.
Oh, yeah.
And he's a fucking hard bloke, so yeah, he gets into my team, and yeah, he's one of those players that if someone gets an offload away to him, or he gets through that first tackle, you all of a sudden just see him picking up speed, and as a former fullback myself, that is something you absolutely dread. Yeah. Someone who's quite low to the ground, rapid and dense.
I think the other good thing looking forward is, you know, with the Lions head on, I mean, the Irish front row at the moment, the scrumming is going well, and I thought Scannell come in, took Best's place, which is overdue in my opinion. Best's passed his sell by 15 years or so. But no, the way the Irish scrum's going at the moment is very encouraging. Going to New Zealand, because that's going to be crucial.
Yeah, well, the probably the biggest scrum will be them and France when how that pans out.
Yeah, that's going to be that.
But at the same time, we've seen that the scrum necessarily isn't the be all and end all. You look at the Scotland Ireland game, and Scotland got a bit fingered in the scrum, especially in the first half, and then obviously the France England game, they were much more dominant in the scrum. So it does play a part, but in today's rugby, it's
the
biggest factor.
France Scotland this weekend. The reason France won it was because of the scrum.
Yeah, but at the same time, Scotland do lack a lot of quality.
Yeah,
and they were in France as well.
Right. Let's get on to the second fixture of the second weekend of the Six Nations.
Mm-hmm.
Wales England.
Mm-hmm.
You go first.
Yeah, like I said, I didn't watch it live. Watched the highlights. It just looked ferocious. I remember saying to you that that's what it was going to be like, didn't I? That game, it always is. It's just so intense, and small mistakes can cost, which did seem to tell at the end. A poor kick and then a lazy Cuthbert, or a tired Cuthbert, what you want to call him, got caught napping. But I think it just shows, you know, that going back to that Sam Davis argument of what attack. It's almost like in NFL. If your attack is so good, you hold the ball for longer periods, and you can apply more pressure. And that's the same watching England play. Is that because they're the best? They've got the two best receivers or the best attacking game in the Six Nations. They can apply more pressure than the other team, and over the course of 80 minutes, it usually leads to the win. But I think it played out how it was meant to play out. The back row for Wales had a lot of turnovers, and England finished well. They got good finishes. So, but I'm kind of glad I didn't watch it live at the same time, because that would have been horrible to watch.
My thoughts on it. I don't think the game was won on the pitch, won or lost on the pitch. The game was won in the courtroom box. As I've said, Howley's clearly out of his depth. Moriarty was having a game and a half.
So you think if it
takes him off after 58 minutes, I think it was. Took a lot of emphasis out of both attacking and defending. Same thing with Ken Owens. He was having an excellent game. Took him off.
You got to think.
And then obviously the Sam Davis, Dan Bigger thing, you know, the selection policy there and the focus from England management to back George Ford, who was targeted during the game, but absolutely ripped us apart first 20 minutes. And then and you scored. And then when we had the ball, we had the lion's share of possession from the second half of the end of the first half to the start of the second half, and because we've got no creativity in that 10 channel, we didn't look like scoring.
I don't disagree with you. I do disagree with you on the point that it was won in the coach's box. I look at that game and I think if Sam Davis had started that game, that's a hard game to put a young 10 in there. I think that, you know, we would have seen the next best 10 to ever play the game. Well, he would have had to come in. I just think that was the wrong game to put a young 10 in to start in that game.
Yeah, but that sort of besides the point in terms of he should have been given the Italy game.
Yeah, no, I don't disagree with that.
And then the changes.
I don't disagree with that.
The changes that were made, you brought, were necessary changes from Wales's point of view. And I understand, you know, these days the changes are already predetermined before the game, but when players are playing so well, you leave them on. Also, the other thing, just on the Cuthbert thing, a lot of people are questioning, just on the Cuthbert thing first, he hasn't performed for the best part of 3 years, club or country. Now, whose choice was it to select him? The coaches. They've got youngsters coming through, they're not given a chance, like Sam Davis. Could have thrown Steph Evans in there in the autumn. Keelan Giles wasn't given a go, another youngster.
Hallamamos?
He's injured at the moment. But
I like Hallamamos, he's good.
But you know, that's all management decisions. And then a lot of people sort of blaming Jonathan Davis for the kick at the end, but that's the Welsh management's policy. All game they kicked in field, not to touch. Why would they change that? Plus, the way the England lineup was going, you know, even if you did kick it out into touch, would that have made that much of a difference? I don't think so. I mean,
are we? So you're saying this game was a result of
bad management?
Yeah, months in advance.
Plus England know how to win. You've gone 16 unbeaten. Like losing's a habit, winning's a habit, and we're not used to winning big crunch games. You are.
I remember the Australia game in Australia, and I think it was the final test, and Australia were all over us. It was hard to watch, like especially the first half, were all over us, but they had to work so hard to get points. Like, I don't think they scored that many points in the first half, and we were in touching distance. And then the second half, we had the ball, and you just knew that this is our game. It's what England do with the ball and without the ball, because they just soak up pressure, like the France game as well. They soak up pressure so well, but when they get the ball, they make sure they get the points at the right time. And I think that was the case of Wales on Saturday as well. Was you didn't score enough points when you had it. And
I know, but we're talking about all these little things.
Yeah, they build up
in a management structure in terms of decisions made, both before game and during the game, that all lead to an outcome. And Eddie Jones, over the last 16 games, has been making the right decisions time after time, whereas Howley hasn't. So I understand what you're saying, and I agree with you. Like I said, winning's a habit, and you're used to winning, and you won.
I think it's, I don't know, and to be fair, the England one hasn't been like that since we won the World Cup, but too much of the thinking of here and now. Like, I think Jones wouldn't have minded if they'd lost that game on Saturday, because the end result is the World Cup.
Yeah.
And do you know what I mean? Like,
you peaking too soon?
No, I don't think so. Because we still haven't played our best rugby.
Okay.
And we still haven't. We're still missing players. and it was. I don't think they're peaking too soon at all. I think they're still young players. They've still got. We're going to lose games along the way, no doubt about that. But obviously, and peaking too soon. Well, I can't really say, can we? But how you can say that?
Well,
I don't think.
But the All Blacks were classic at, weren't they?
Yeah, I don't think so.
Okay.
The big test will be that All Blacks game, but you can tell England are working towards something, whereas a lot of other countries seem like they're here and now. I think Wales are. Do you know what I mean? There's not a lot of foresight there.
Yeah. Well,
because I think if there was foresight there, Sam Davis would have been playing in a Wales shirt a lot longer before.
That's the management now. So anyway, let's move on to the France-Scotland game Sunday. Brilliant game, I thought. France heavily relied on their pack dominance to win the game. I think what cost Scotland is their expansive style. When you play an expansive style of game, which Scotland have to, because they generally don't have the biggest of packs, so they can't sort of bully their way to wins, and because that expansive style of play within its nature leads to mistakes and forced errors, and when you make mistakes against the French pack that love a scrum, absolutely love a scrum, love a driving maul,
they just smothered them,
love a driving maul, they just fed on it, and gradually you could see it coming. It
showed how poor France were to a degree as well, how much territory and possession they had, and how many times they were able to keep the ball for long periods, and it was still a tight game. But yeah, Scotland were no match for that pack.
Another word on Stuart Hogg, defence. What's that? Not great, was it?
No, I don't know.
But he was brilliant though, because he scored a try.
It's just that one of those, isn't it? It's like he is literally on the end of the commentator's tongue, waiting for him to do something well, for them to fucking bum rape him. But they fucking don't seem to fucking notice. Don't seem to notice when he misses fucking 10 tackles a game.
Bum rape on a rugby vlog. There we are.
Yeah. Andy Nicol bum raping Stuart Hogg every Saturday.
Oh, there we are. We're not PG then. Anyone stand out for you?
Just the French pack as a whole. The one thing just lacking with France is enough distributors. Like keep banging on about
Lamarat's a good player, 13. I think he's a decent player. I think he had another good game. I think he had a good game against you.
But like an out and out distributor.
Yeah, I know what you said.
Like that, it would just bring that whole team to life. Someone who, like Farrell, is a 10. Someone at 12 who thinks a bit more like a 10, and it would, because look at their back three, their pack is massive. They're just and when Fofana, when he's fit as well. Like, they're just crying out for someone else in the middle of the park, other than just 9 who calls the shots.
I tell you what, I was watching that game, and I think I saw what France's problems were. Obviously, they need that in the midfield area, but you look at their second rows. I was watching the game yesterday, and I was going, Maestri, he's going to give this penalty away, yeah. Lo and behold, he gives the penalty away, not rolling away or just going off his feet. You just know when the penalties are coming with their second rows, and their second rows, I don't know, Valmahina, Maestri, it's just not good enough.
They're like, it's like a throwback to watching Danny Grucock or Steve Borthwick play. Just not great rugby, like ball in hand players and penalty merchants.
Yeah, they're not good enough to compete at the top level. If they got a pair of locks, that pack would be something. And then it's gonna be interesting to see how the young 9 goes on, Serran. I think he just needs experience, and they need to get a consistent 10 as well. Is Camilo Lopez going to be the 10? I don't know. I'm not sure. Obviously, his kicking was good, but you know, is he going to be the spark that lights that back three and Lamaray?
They're only a few players away from having a fucking.
Well, they've got the fundamentals there, haven't they? I mean, their scrum's
they've got
amazing.
finishers, and they've got the pack, and they've got a good 9. Like, and they've got, when Fofana's fit, they've got arguably the best centre in the world. So,
yeah.
Do you know, it's just frustrating watching them because they could be so much more.
I think Scotland just lack of depth. They just haven't got
Yeah.
anything outside their first 15.
Yeah.
You know, their scrum was on its arse. They had a couple of back row injuries, and then you're asking Swinson, who's the second row, to go into back row, and it's just not good enough, really. I mean, if Finn Russell gets injured, and they have to. What's his name? Bloody
Duncan Weir.
Duncan Weir.
Do you know
Is
what?
that your backup?
I love Duncan Weir. I actually love Duncan Weir. I'll tell you why. I think I might have told you, my second year at Loughborough for uni,
Yeah.
there was 6 of us moving into a house, all rugby lads. And obviously there was, all the rooms were really nice, 6-man house, but there was one fucking tiny room. And because we couldn't decide who should
I
have
know this story.
who should have what rooms, we decided to play it on the Six Nations, so everyone had a team, and where that team finished, you got that number pick of the room. And I pulled out Scotland out the hat, and Jacob pulled out Italy, and then I think was it the last day of the Six Nations?
Yeah. Duncan Weir had a game, did he?
Last day of the Six Nations, he scored the drop goal to beat Italy, and so I got 5th pick of the room and not the shit one. So
there we are. We're fans of Duncan Weir here on the Egg Digest.
Yeah, goes,
evidently.
I like Duncan Weir. Every time he comes on, I've got time for him.
There we are. So there we are. First one done, dusted. Egg Digest.
Preview for the next games.
Well, we've got a week yet, haven't we?
Yeah, I suppose.
So
Yeah, I've got a week off.
Player of the first 2 weekends for you.
Player of the first 2 weekends for me. I am going to go with Owen Farrell.
Okay. It's close for me that. I almost went to Owen Farrell, but even though they lost first weekend, it'd be pick and walls for me. I think he's been amazing. Absolutely amazing.
Yeah, he's been good.
So yeah, that's it then, is it?
Yeah.
So see you next week.